Hello and welcome to another commentated game of Infinity. This is a game of Firefight played between Kyle on the left playing as Bakunin and Ben on the right playing as Shock Army of Acontecimento. The players have rolled for scenario and deployment. Ben won the roll, elected to go first, and has deployed first on the right. Let's move through his deployment really quickly. So from left to right, we've got Fugazi Dronbot, a Palbot connected to this Machinist, another Fugazi Dronbot. I suspect there's a third one. Yep, another third one here. A really big, nasty link, plus backups of multiple regulars, including a mine layer, and multiple snipers, including both the regular sapper and the Bagmarie multi-sniper. There is also a paramedic back here, in position to be able to paramedic both of these. If this one drops prone, it'll still have its base visible to her. There are mines laid by the Bagmarie and the mine layer here and here. There's also a mulebot back here at the very back of the deployment zone, and another palbot connected to the machinist. Now, Ben held back two reserve models, and Kyle quite correctly identified that they would be a Dragao and a Tikbalang. Now, Ben has referred to this as a bit of a meme list, but I absolutely disagree. Tags are incredibly powerful, and these are two of the best in the game. They've already begun moving forward, but we'll get to them in a moment. Important to note, the Dragao is in Group 2, basically just with an auto battery of troops as an artillery/support piece, but it's presently moving forward aggressively. The Tikbalang has full bottle of the first group. Meanwhile, Ben over here has a Morlock that's rolled Climbing Plus, a core team of a Riot Girl missile launcher, a moderator paramedic, and then two more moderators. Now, interestingly, everything has deployed prone because Kyle identified that a hell of a lot of gun was coming. The Riot Girl missile launcher, despite normally being an Overwatch piece, not willing to stand up, and absolutely the right decision. There's also a transductor zone here, a war correspondent here. Again, prone. Normally the war core would ablate orders in the first turn, but not against a Dragao. Then over here there is a duo of a Riot Girl Spitfire and Avicenna, and then another Morlock who has rolled no wounding cap. Now, something that's really interesting here, this is kind of a Kyle innovation. You could easily make this a Haris with an extra model, but Kyle has kind of gotten to the opinion that he likes running duos, and I agree. This might not necessarily be the game for them, given that there are multiple tags on the table, but this is a really efficient assault package, plus specialist package, plus it's fast. And all you really lose is one burst. And if you think about the cost that it would take to increase the burst of that Riot Girl Spitfire, it's a lot. And Kyle's reserve was this lizard hiding behind a silhouette, who he was completely unwilling to have out in the open against two tags. There are also three camouflage markers, and I think one of them has been discover shot by the Dragao moving forward. So Ben's got a pretty healthy order pool. Two orders have been docked from the first group, but basically the Dragao with an unmolested order pool of 5 plus an irregular is preparing to basically stomp forward. And yeah, I think there was a 0 hanging out here, and what it looks like has happened. This is cool. Okay, so we missed this while I was introducing everything, but this would have been a 0 with deployable repeaters, EM mines, and a combi rifle, non-specialist profile. The Dragao has declared Discover, and the 0 has suicidally placed a repeater. Now, there is no way for that Dragao to get line of fire to that repeater without coming into its line of fire, because the repeater wouldn't be seen until it sort of gets to here. And the Tikbalang is now in danger. This is a super spicy play, because he signed a death warrant, right, when he placed that. The Dragao was going to be discovering on 9s or 10s. I suspect Dragaos are whip 12. Most Pana only Jotums, I believe, are whip 13. But on the chance that if it did discover it was going to kill the 0, this really savages the Tikbalang. I can't measure, I'm in spectator mode, but there's a good chance that's within 8, so that is pretty spicy. We will see what Ben does to deal with that. Just other things to note, these are the panoplies, so the consoles, or panoplies rather, here, and here, and the players have placed decompression zones. Alright, Dragao is moving forward, checks under control, yep, it's not inside zone of control of the repeater.
My apologies, sorry, yeah, good point. Yeah, but I'm outside zone of control for the repeater. Yep. And I'm also outside zone of control for this other marker.
And just an interesting note about measurement here is that This is a game that is being played post FAQ 1.1.1, and in that FAQ you are allowed to measure the zone of control of the active trooper at the end of each of its short skills to determine whether or not AROs are available. So of course players are measuring and checking to see line of fire here. Now that's not going to be in line of fire still. There's going to be another. I think there's going to be another check here. And Ben is going to hope that he's not within 8, and he absolutely
could be.
is.
It's marginal.
The players are saying it's marginal. I reckon it's
think
in.
you are.
Yep, there we
I
go.
think you're
So
right.
we are about to have,
So-
presumably, some unopposed hacking,
No worries.
which is going to be
So I'm going
extremely
ARO
spicy.
now.
Let's see what
I'm
happens.
going to reveal this camouflage marker is a 0 hacker,
Yep, here we go.
and I'm going to attempt to Oblivion
So
you.
there's just one 0 hacker, and it's attempting an Oblivion,
Say again? Yeah,
which
got
is
13.
the wrong move. I don't know why Kyle is doing this. Occasionally people
My
forget
apologies,
that
I thought
possession
I
exists.
thought it was your first movement. I was just waiting for you a second.
Let's see if it matters. But just
20? No, nothing.
okay. So he's rolled a 20. Doesn't get through. Not the end of the world. But just for visibility here. Oblivion is all well and good, and the reason why you might choose to Oblivion rather than Total Control is if you are like dead set on killing this tag next turn, because obviously you can't shoot a model that you've possessed. But if we look at what is going on with the rest of this board, a possessed Dragao is like perfect. There's nothing that Ben can do except kill his own tag.
My transductor, you are
so
in control of.
I'm strongly against
from 3D to 2D.
strongly against Kyle's decision to drop an Oblivion there, but it was his, and we'll see what happens. So the Dragao basically is stomping forward, and we can see that it's still got some orders left, and it's presumably going for kind of a close assault here, which is a little scary, and real ruthlessness actually on Ben's part. So we're going to see some dodges here, but yeah, no further hacking.
You will be out everything else. So there you go, just 3 dodges.
That makes sense. Okay, cool. So we'll spend an order.
Yep. So they've resolved the dodges, and no one did anything because there is no point standing up. The Riot Girl is like, oh yeah, maybe you could stand her up. But the Dragao has a heavy flamethrower, and anything that stands up here is food for the Tikbalang. So this is actually a bold assault, and I like it. Maybe slightly too bold, given there's only one regular order left in this group. But yeah, no,
everything here.
strong Dragao kill. And I think Ben has kind of identified that there's really only maybe one model in the entire Bakunin army that can really fight the big guns that he's got. The Lizard is, a very serviceable tag, and there's nothing wrong with it. But the Riot Girl is really not able to go toe-to-toe necessarily with like a whole bunch of these guns. The Spitfire would definitely need to get into the right position, which, potentially it can do. But yeah, this is an aggressive assault. And yeah, it kind of just speaks to the power of tags and the fact that you really need countermeasures against them.
No worries. I'm rolling 17s.
I'm shooting them out.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Yeah, so in this case, the Dragao has basically just run through the gap and delivered an absolute volley, which, well and good. A lot of death. I think it's killed. We'll see what it's killed when the players remove pieces, but
nothing happens.
Pretty dangerous.
Do my hacking attack.
So we've got another possession or possibly Oblivion here.
Yep. So damage 16, armor piercing.
Yeah. Okay. So once again, there's this. So, all right. Just to pause here for a second and talk about this kind of issue. Oblivioning does not stop the Dragao from making AROs. It just stops orders from being spent. Now, the fact that he has successfully Oblivioned the Dragao is good here, right? Like, absolutely, that's good. And right, 1 dice, the 13 was a failure because of a successful Oblivion, which is armor-piercing ammunition. Now, double trouble ammunition on Total Control would have been even more likely to succeed. So, like, not going to indulge in confirmation bias there. But just the number of things that you can do if this Dragao is possessed rather than isolated is significant. So one thing that you can do is you can just run it at the enemy. There are no hackers in the Pano list. They cannot depossess it. You can run it into close combat if you want, and then fire into the close combat to score kills. You can healthily and easily engage any of these things in... Like, it's got a HRMC. It's only BS12, but, like, shoot for days. And then finally... you can just walk it into close combat with your own Morlock.
Okay.
Right? Cool. If you do that, then the Dragao is now locked in close combat. Like you could spend orders and you could pull it back here, and then you can just like at your pleasure kill the damn thing later in the game if he ever depossesses it. The possession effect is just
Okay, so
it just represents a
what
total
we're
kill for the
thinking
turn.
is
I guess this late in the turn, right, it would only have one order left, but that one order threatened to kill a lizard. So
It
go with a higher
becomes-
success. I'll ask Kyle later in the turn, later in the game about why he chose to do this. I mean, among other things, right? You could
Cool.
you could use it to fucking ARO the Tickbalang. Potentially, you'd need to be able to turn it around, but it would be able to turn around if things were
send
attacked.
15 troopers, so you know there's no hidden
So
deployment.
anyway, the Tickbalang is now moving forward, and it will have 9 orders to spend. Its tactical awareness plus the 8 regular orders in the group. And it's gonna 100% kill this moderator. I suspect that is an extremely dead moderator that is not in cover.
Profitable
Slightly
dodge.
questionable deployment, actually. Given that Kyle straight up predicted the presence of a Tickbalang and a Dragao, this is a really dangerous place for a
So
moderator
you
to
can
be.
end your movement on the side, like while you're climbing.
Yeah.
There may have been a bit of a like confusion in the sense of one of the things that you will note is that this
Yeah,
crate
no
is
problem
not
with
large enough to support the base of a Tickbalang.
So he'll like do. I think he has to move
But
like an inch.
okay, well,
to
firstly, as
support
I'm assuming that both
this.
players would kind of
Cool.
agree
So
that
that's his first
you
inch,
can
then his remaining
climb on
5
this. It sort of looks
inches.
like it's meant to be climbed on and moved around, etc. But even failing that, Ben is making the point that he can hang off the side. That's actually technically kind of wrong because there's not enough space on the side either. But it looks like the players are just playing this as climbable, and I mean, at minimum, Carl should probably have asked. So anyway, what we have here is probably an extremely dead moderator. And also a slightly cheeky line of sight check to see
So
what something up
basically
here
he'll
could see.
move 5 inches down
You
this
know, right.
thing,
We'll see what happens.
which I'm
Yep, so it's taking the shot, and the moderator is about to get lit up. 4 dice on 18s is very unlikely to beat, very unlikely to lose to 1 dice on 10s, although small miracles occasionally happen.
So I'm looking for 16s.
Yep, and they're resolving it. Let's see if this moderator can roll a 16 4 times on its armor saves.
Oh, okay. So it's damage.
Signs
17 is it?
point to probably no,
It
sorry,
was
a
16 and one
17,
more.
a
Yep,
17 4
makes
times
sense.
on its armor rolls.
17.
Signs point to no, but
Yeah, she's
yeah,
dead.
completely dead.
okay. We'll take him off the rooftop. We'll spend an order on the Tickbalang.
Tickbalang's moving forward again, completely unsurprisingly, and it's got a great many orders. Now, I'll talk over while Ben runs this thing around. Oh, also, just as a point of game etiquette, I'm a little bit sketchy on this thing that Ben is doing, where he is sort of like placing lots of silhouettes down, just because Infinity is fairly strict about what you can and can't pre-measure, and this is pre-measuring. When you activate the Tickbalang and you declare a
Yeah, I
move,
think he does. Yep.
you are allowed to measure, like the game tells us, you are allowed to measure everything that the Tickbalang could feasibly move to in that skill. So if the Tickbalang were down here, and you were measuring to see if it could reach up there, 100%, the game says you can measure that. But just placing silhouettes around, it strays into checking that I'm not
Yep, no
100%
worries.
sure the game actually allows. Now, like, I have no problem with you, like,
Yeah,
what,
the
I mean,
Morlock has a
getting your head down
action.
at table level and
The
looking
Morlock will
around and
dodge.
checking and seeing things and making your best judgments, but given that the game is very clear about what pre-measurement is allowed, this is just a little bit sketchy. But anyway, the players are obviously fine with it, and
Makes
if the
sense.
players are
I
fine with it, then it
think
is fine.
you might, I don't know.
So,
It's hard
just
for me to
while
tell
this is
without
happening,
looking at the
this is a
silhouette
bit of a
again, but I
case
can just be on
study
top of the
in
building to
why
see
you have
moderator.
to be
Oh,
ready
yeah,
to
very good
defend
for flight.
against tags in this edition,
and
and how to defend against tags. There is one hacker in the Nomad army, and it's in a pretty vulnerable position. Yeah, it's reasonably well positioned, but there isn't a repeater network
Dodging
to
on
back it
a
up.
10 because I can't see
So
him.
the only repeaters in the Nomad
I failed
army
to
in their
dodge.
deployment zone are the Transductor zoned here, and there may have been one that has since been killed. So they're just, like, say here, in this dumpster truck,
The
that would have been
moderator
an
will
ideal
dodge.
place. Another one potentially back here, and probably prone on this rooftop.
I don't
would have
think
been
so.
kind of like the
No, I
ideal
can't see
third
anything
place
that said, no.
if you had 3 transductor zones, for example. But the single deployment zone transductor zone, the lack of other deployment zone, the lack of other repeaters. Any faction, right? Any faction can chuck at least a couple of repeaters, except for Toha, can chuck at least a couple of repeaters down in the deployment zone and have a hacker. And this is really kind of a case in point about if all else fails, it's something that you want, because there is just no stopping these tags, right? They are incredibly fast, incredibly durable, incredibly high ballistic skill. They're just dangerous and strong. And I mean, I'm a slightly vocal proponent of basically every tag power level wise north of the Magariba of getting nerfed, because like this shit happens. I'm actually Kyle's a really good player, and I reckon if there's anyone's going to pull this out of the bag,
Maybe, yeah, you might.
it's him. But yeah,
Let's
this
take a
is look at this shit. It's just like this Nomad list has got a full core link team and a duo and some skirmishes, and even it's got its own tag. That
I'm
frankly,
gonna say you can.
Kyle is going to be banking on this lizard to do an absolute fuck ton of work,
As much
which
as I
it
don't
might.
want
It
that,
might do a whole
I
ton of
reckon you
work.
can.
But like, what does that leave us with? Oh, it turns out that the only thing that Kyle has to defend against a tag right now is
Oh wait,
to
that's if you
survive
move,
and
so you
have
haven't
his
got there
tag
yet.
kill
Yeah, I
inactive.
haven't gotten there.
I'm not
Right,
convinced that is
yeah, I thought
necessarily
so.
the
Okay, yeah, sure, makes
not
sense.
convinced that's necessarily the level-based evidence of a balanced game design. But anyway, so we have a tick belang. It's sitting here. There, for some reason, is another one here. Ben, stop fucking doing that. And it is going to be trying and getting some kills. It is drawn line of fire to this moderator, so this moderator is probably not long for this world. And then after that, it's kind of a question. It is going to run out of things that it can kill, although it can probably get a pretty cheeky kill on this Morlock and then do something, pull it back. Oh, also, just as a tiny optimization note, Ben could have elected not to have spent this Dragau's irregular order, and instead been spending regular orders up until the last one. That would actually have given this Dragao one more order despite being isolated when
Yeah,
it was
sure,
ready
why
to
not?
do whatever the last thing that it's doing is. He didn't, so small optimization. If you think there is a risk of isolation,
Yep.
from jammers, if anyone uses those, or if your opponent is
Yep, I'll
going to
dodge it.
use Oblivion rather than Total Control, keep the irregular order of the tag
Yep.
unspent until it's ready to use. But in this case, Ben saved regular orders rather
No,
than
I
irregular
don't think
orders,
so.
and in any
So
case, Kyle
I
used
passed my dodge on
arguably
mine.
the wrong program. So we've got an exchange of fire. There is a successful dodge. Does the dodge beat a 9?
Oh, you got a 9 as well. There you go.
So they equal. All right. So for now, the moderator survives, and the tick belang has ended up down here, and also here, and also back there, and also back there. Stop doing that, Ben. So there are 5 orders, and I think it's just the 5. I believe again he has spent the irregular order. 5 orders left on this tick belang. What can it do with 5? Yeah, I reckon it can kill this Morlock and then it'll see. It probably wants to cordon off this Morlock to stop it from going after the Dragao. The EMCCW here on the Morlock. If there is a saving grace for the if there is something that's going to happen to really make this turn good for Acontecimento, apart from getting these moderator kills, it's going to be killing this Morlock or pinning her down. And I think really he wants to kill. And the reason why he wants to kill is that this Morlock has Clumbing Plus.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
As it turns
the
out, doesn't matter.
tick belang cannot necessarily hide from it. It can also
So from
one-shot.
here, you
One-shot
can
is
see- we
sort of
established you
slightly
can
the wrong way of
see
putting
the
it,
red
but it can
camouflage
pseudo
marker,
one-shot the tick belang because it is an
and
EM weapon.
Markers don't block line of sight, do
Um,
they? So
yeah,
can you see this,
and-
the 0 from there? Okay.
There's a line of fire check here, which is can this tick belang see this 0 hacker? I'm very tentatively inclined to say that it can. I think, but that would be one for the players to decide. I think there's 3mm there.
Okay, there you go. Ooh, I'd say no, not this time. But it wouldn't take much to make it visible, because you need to see.
So my movement goes down to 5.
So just to peer behind the curtain briefly, I have just cut out what was basically a 10-minute conversation around alignment, alignment to the vertical, orthogonal movement, etc. Here's the gist of it. Count your movement when you're climbing plus. When you're moving climbing plus. This is a 4.5-inch tall container, and a tick belang space is more than 1.5 inches wide, which means that a tick belang cannot get all the way up this and then onto the top of the crate in a single order. It's just short. It's short by a little bit less than half of an inch. Tikbalang's base is about 1.7 inches wide, maybe 1.6.
Oh no, you're quite right.
But what
My
that means
apologies,
is that the
rolled both of
Tikbalang
mine.
is not
Sorry,
in a
that's all
position
done
where it
again.
can just jot up onto this and shoot in a single order.
Yeah,
In fact, all of these are sufficiently tall as to have that be the case. So we've got a little bit of a rollback, just in order for the Tikbalang to have enough movement to come up here and then up there, and have that engagement and etc. etc. And he's also moved in a way that's going to give him now line of fire to this Zero hacker. So we've got once again a dodge from the moderator, and once again, and also not once again, but in this case, a dodge from the Zero hacker. Now, if this Zero hacker dies, that's bad. It's the only hacker in the entire Nomad force, which is kind of the price that you pay to have 2 SWC Riot Girls, and a Sienna, and a Lizard, even a HFT Lizard, which is a little lower SWC cost. It would be fantastic if this list had even a single moderator hacker in it. It doesn't. Nature of the beast.
I failed to dodge.
So just one critical hit.
Okay, this is probably within 32. I don't know if the
pasted.
players actually measured it, but I can't. So unless I change my, no, I can't. So let's assume that that was within 32. This is, yeah, probably was. Almost certainly was. So with this Zero having been pasted, this is a bad spot now for this is a bad spot now for the Nomads. In addition, this is good. This moderator has passed. Something that's probably worth noting is that this moderator might want to stand up. This stops being the worst gunfight in the world when you're linked and inside of 16. 2 dice on 10s is better than 1 dice on 10s. That's the long and the short of it. Even setting aside the chance to injure the Tikbalang, get standing so that you are taller than the thing, as in so it doesn't have cover relative to you, and take the shots. Like, worst case scenario, you get maybe shot by this Bag Marie, but I don't think it's going to have line of fire to you. No, it's not going to. So that would have been a small optimization that could potentially have saved this this moderator and even injured the Tikbalang, right? As the dodge, stand, and then take shots. 2 dice on 10s versus the Tikbalang rolling. I want to say it'll be 4 dice on 15s. It's not a good face-to-face roll, but it's better than a single dice on 10s with no chance to injure the enemy. In any case, there's going to be another gunfight looking to kill this moderator. This is ultimately going to leave this link with 3 people, but I think, all things considered, I reckon that Kyle is pretty okay if he gets through the turn with just the loss of like 1 Transductor Zond, 1 Zero, and a couple of moderators. If he starts losing more than that, it gets pretty bad. Because the game is reaching the point where, particularly with this hacker dead, literally the only tools that he has to deal with these 2 tags are the Lizard and like this Morlock, basically, because this one's not going to do it. And frankly, the Riot Girl's not going to do it either.
This is fine. Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, so Kyle needs to reach a point where his resources survive intact, he kills 2 tags, and if he does that, he still has to fight a core link headed up by a Bag Marie, but he can probably do that. That's a winnable fight. It's really a single gun with some good bonuses, although do not underestimate the attack power of this this regular mine layer. I have done work with this thing in the past. It is surprisingly good as a run up and kill things. Let's not forget that it is Firefight. Each player also has 3 classified objectives and are trying to do them, but that's probably going to be pretty secondary this game. Both players very much seem to be going for a every mission is annihilation if you play hard enough kind of approach. The Tikbalang is pulling back, and it looks like we will have some status quo at the conclusion of this engagement with, yeah, that's not too bad. So we've got 2 casualties, including the paramedic, which is relevant, 2 casualties in the Riot Girl and Moderator core link. I think there's been a dead Transductor Zond, a dead Zero, another dead Zero. This is a pretty heavy hammer blow in the first turn. The Zeros are 20 to 30 points apiece, the hacker obviously being the most expensive. The moderators are dropping off the core link bonuses, which is sort of significant. The order pool is being chipped away at. What will be very interesting to see is how Kyle chooses to engage this and this threat. One of the things that is most relevant is that this regular is not really positioned to defend the tags. Neither is this Bagmary in sort of like any capacity. It's got a good line down here, threading the needle quite nicely between these decompression zones actually, which is very well done. But it's not defending the tags, and the tags kind of need defending right now.
Could be, they could still
And
block it to a
yeah, there aren't the orders to establish a better cordon. We'll see. He might do something that I'm not expecting. It looks like the Tickbalang is drive-buying this
You might have to
this
clear away
panoply, which
your
will be
other-
pretty cool.
Your marker
But
tickbalings.
yeah, we will see. I think this is probably right on the cusp of the amount of damage Ben needed to inflict without being over the threshold of the amount that would end the game sort of immediately on the first turn. With that amount being, I think, if the lizard is dead, then the game is over. But the lizard is not dead. I think it's a Group 2 lizard, just as this is a Group 2 Dragao, which is pretty cool. But yeah, we will see. We'll just pause up here, and we will come back once the dust has settled on the Acontecimento turn 1, and see how Bakunin responds.
If I use this guy's impetuous,
Okay, so what's
the
happened is that
Tickbalang
Tickbalang has gone into suppressive fire, and
won't
then this
see him.
Fugazi, as its last remaining order in this group, has just jumped down here, really just to have a little bit of cover for the Tickbalang, which I actually quite like as a play. Jumping down there
Right.
has get it away from the Riot Goer missile launcher, but it's still in position to cover the silhouette, because Ben has correctly identified that this Morlock
Well, just
is a
looking at,
significant
My
threat.
gut feel is the
Now,
left side is the shortest.
Kyle
route,
has
looks like
also
a tail,
identified that
so
this Morlock
I
is
feel
the
it's
most
safe.
significant
This
threat
guy is
to
gonna be
the
impetuous.
things that are available to the Pano player. So
Three
we're taking at least one
points,
impetuous
6.7,
order. Now I'm not
3.3.
sure
It's
what
not
the groups are, but I'm going to say that
granularity
this
is
is
too small
probably
for
the
me to
tag
accurately measure that.
like that.
and the Warcore,
Alright,
and then these are the
questions gone.
Morlocks.
Got the
So
arrow?
this is sort of looking interesting. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure about this. This is sort of I could be wrong actually. I put main battle tanks in
See
Combat
what?
Group 2
Oh,
and
the
use them as
Tickbalang.
fire support and
Oh,
artillery
yeah,
pieces.
okay. I thought it was
And that is
behind
what
this
Ben has done
box.
as well.
Yeah,
Kyle
we
might be
did
doing
that,
differently. I
understand
don't have
that.
copies of the lists.
No, I disagree. I don't think you can see it.
So
Yeah.
Is it behind? Is it to the left of this?
a little bit of
radial
conversation around
waist?
lines of fire and stuff, but
I
this
see.
means that there's
Oh, yeah, no, my apologies.
only
Yeah,
a
good
small
point.
order pool available
Thanks
to
for
the
letting me get that
lizard,
back.
which,
I decline
given
to
the limited
impetuous
order
that guy.
pool, the Commander can
Now I'm
pull,
going
probably
to
reasonable.
into the regular
The lizard
phase.
is in position to engage both the
I need
Dragao
to
and
take
the
out both
Sil
tags,
and
otherwise you'll just move whatever
the
tag
Tickbalang,
survives into the first group.
but
Cause me pain.
it's
Although what I
risky. The
can
thing
do
is
if I
that these are
deal
Pano
with
tags, and this is
Tickbalang
also a
first,
flamethrower
then I
firefight.
don't need to worry about the Morlock.
The lizard could
and the
move out to
Dragao
here
as
and
much.
back.
So I'll
The
keep
Dragao would
that.
just take the
Let's
heavy
try this.
flamethrower shot.
Okay.
The Tickbalang would fire armor-piercing rounds, but it would be firing on 11s, probably hit twice, maybe 3 times. But there is a reasonable chance that a heavy flamethrower just kills the lizard. It's not a high chance, but it's also a highly risky but possible chance. So the use of
Let's
the
say I
Morlock
did
with these
get
orders, I think, is pretty sensible.
I think I'd be fairly
1, 2,
safe.
3, 4,
If I
5,
get
6,
behind
7, 8, 9,
the
10.
Tickbalang.
Mhm.
Oh,
Do I
you
have
didn't
the
place the
order
mine
pools
into
wrong?
the
Because
No, I didn't. I
2
didn't have the
moderators got
These guys,
killed,
there's no snipers. The
and he hasn't
Fugazi's
shifted
over
anything
here, you
around.
already
Maybe there
like
is a lizard in this
nothing.
group, and
If I
I'm
get
getting things
behind the
wrong. If that's the case,
Tickbalang,
then
GG.
absolutely you'd want to
Alright,
shift
I'm going to spend a
a
regular
Morlock
token,
into the first
regular
group,
order.
but we'll
I'm
we'll
going to
see.
activate my Silhouette 2 marker.
So the first thing that's happening
Now,
is this camouflage marker is activating.
Okay, I'm just trying to get him across
Okay.
here.
So
Just fall
this is
through
not
it.
a vault. This is a climbing plus,
doesn't
I
exist.
believe. Actually, it might be a vault, but
Okay, that makes
the
sense annoying.
the use of climbing plus has definitely been declared, which reveals this to be Brand
The
de
building
Castro,
is,
which is an interesting choice,
no, that
but
will help.
probably
The
reasonable.
building is
Because this is
roughly 3
Firefight,
inches
these
tall,
deployment zones are actually
and the
massive.
lid
Like the
is
16 inches was
0.4
about
of an
here.
inch.
In a 12-inch deployment zone scenario, I think you'd probably put Bran, like you'd make the roll even going second and put him up here.
Let's just climb
But
in. I
it
think
was not the
climbing's
case, so
simpler.
fair enough.
Let's just climb him down there.
So
To
he's
not be
just
seen by the
hopping down
Tickbalang
here,
anymore,
and what he's
not
trying to
be seen
do is
by
he's trying to
either of the
get
snipers
past
is the idea.
all of the various things that can discover and
If
shoot
that's
him to
achievable,
death.
I'll attempt that.
I'm a little mixed on this as a play, but again, I
Which
may
one's
not
second?
be
Oh, that
understanding
one.
the combat
Okay,
groups that are
well, I won't
available
bother
here.
then.
I would really be putting everything into this Morlock, drop and smoke here,
Okay, is there a place I can put him?
and
I agree with
then
you. I
running
just look
around
through
and
the
killing the
sniper and
Dragao.
see.
Because I don't really think, like,
Can I
once
make it all
this
the way
lane
down
is
to the
once
ground
this lane is
floor? I
blocked,
wonder.
yeah, you can get in on the Dragao. Now it might dodge, but you should be able to get around to it. And like
Yeah,
worst case scenario, get around to
Yeah,
here,
so let's
and
do
it
that.
probably can't see both the lizard and
Okay,
the
so
Morlock
can
in the
you make
same
it
order.
this far?
kill the Dragao, or even if you're worried about it, just get smoke down there.
So
Kill the damn Dragao,
3.6, it's a lip of
and then
3.4.
come
I
back
think
this
we're looking
way.
at.
Yeah, definitely.
You've gotten
Yeah,
smoke to
why
about
not
there.
this
What's the play at this point?
Yeah.
Maybe you...
inch,
Probably you move up to here,
Yeah, now can you snipe
and
us
then
here
you
from
throw
there?
smoke
No, I think he's
to
fine. He's going to do that.
about
It's a special
there,
skill. There he is.
and then you run around this way, and then
so I guess
into
I'll just
melee with the
chuck
tick
out
belang, and you kill
this
it.
covers
Those,
circle with the
like,
bag and
that is
wings.
accomplishable with this sort of like
Like
almost
this,
10 strong order pool. And
tick
I say
belang
kill, you
also
probably have
takes
to,
fire for now,
you
so
have
that
to
will be
actually
that'll
belt
hold.
the Dragao once, then run away. And you have to actually
I
kill
think
the
just
tick
like
belang. And the reason why you have to
I'm
actually
just going to keep
kill the
moving.
tick belang
I'm pretty safe
is
with
that
the tick
there's
belang
a
now
pal bot back
until I
here.
get much closer. So I'm going to advance
So you,
through.
what are we talking about in terms
like,
of orders? We're talking about
towards the snipers, so I
1,
don't get seen by them.
2,
So I'm going to make it
3
yeah,
into melee with it. So
here is good, 'cause I've got to
optimistically,
worry about the
3
box.
or 4 orders gets a
Now,
Dragao
yeah, that's
isolation.
good. I am.
5,
so let's work this
6,
out. So you were
7,
so you were stood
Yep.
up here.
8, 9.
you
Yeah, okay.
pop
So it is probably
the
just
swing out
barely
where you
possible,
kick.
if
So I
everything
should
is
probably
spent
don't
doing
get
it,
cover first
to
sniper.
kill the
You don't get
Dragao
cover and climb
and
anyway.
kill the tick belang.
Yeah,
Just barely. And that relies on the Morlock having 2 or 3 orders in melee with the tick
No,
belang,
it's explicit.
which
they
it
don't
would
give
have to be
cover.
pretty optimistic
Yeah, I know. Whilst you're on a
to
vertical
do,
surface,
but
you
you
don't.
could potentially accomplish.
But if you
And the
just
reason
kind of
why, I mean,
pass
because it's an
basically once you're on a
EMCCW, the
horizontal
Morlock is
surface,
Phys
at that
13.
point,
Every
on a
hit is
horizontal
2
surface,
BTS
just
rolls, which the
cover.
tick belang saves on 11s.
You won't
So
get adverse
it's
sniper anyway
like
because
you
you're on
need
the
kind of minimum
surface.
3 orders because it's remote presence tag.
But
So that's the most optimistic
we
outcome,
can
is that
double check this if
the tick
you're
belang is dead and the Drago is wounded,
getting more
isolated, and
time. I
immobilized,
think he might
and then
still
potentially
cover
finished
versus
off by the
bag
lizard.
anyway because I
That
don't
does
really see
rely
anything
on my assumption that
against
this
him
is a lizard
because
and a
I'm
war
basically
core,
flipping
and
any
these are the
like
Morlock orders, but I'm not convinced that's the case because of how the casualties were incurred. That would make this combat group
bag boy
lizard,
should be on like a I get
Morlock,
the
so
fire
lizard,
bonus, so he'll be
war
on
core,
16
0,
because
0,
philosophy ignores your
Fugazi,
no, he won't be on a 16.
and this is 7, 8,
cover.
yeah, 9, 10, and then 2 moderators and 2 regular orders. Yeah, okay, so I think that's the case,
He was a 15, so he
and I
fails,
hope that's the
and
case, but we will see.
Sapper should be on like a 10 or something.
So we've got some Discover rolls
Negative
coming
4, so they
down.
discover you.
Yep,
Okay.
okay.
Nice.
So I'm not really sure what this Brian de Castro
I'll
play is,
recover.
but it will be interesting to see. Because yeah,
Back to him again.
like one of the first things as the players were talking about this that Kyle identified was that he needed to kill these 2 tags.
So I'm actually faster through the
and
depression zone than
he is
a
not
normal person
attempting
because
to
he's
do
got
that, apparently.
terrain total.
Unless I am missing something. Maybe he is going
Let's have a
to
think.
skate through here and try and get into melee with the tick belang. We will see.
Is that gonna sort me out?
Yep, there he
Gotta get
goes.
behind this box,
This should be a
actually.
5-inch move
I can
because
measure
Brian de
distance, so it's
Castro
4
has
inches.
multi-terrain.
Yep.
And I think he only
But I'm
moved
gonna get
4
prone
there.
behind this box. Oh, I got 5 inches. Yeah.
Yes.
There he goes, going the
So
extra.
I'll get a bit closer actually. To here.
It's possible that he's trying to like
Yeah,
suicide
guess I need to
in, but
drop prone
yeah,
recamouflage.
Oh, okay. What he's going to try and do is he's going to drop prone here and then recamouflage. So what it looks like this player is attempting to do is to like move and recamouflage, and get Brian de Castro into melee with the tick belang.
Behind this box.
This is not a good plan.
Say again?
This is kind of a weak plan. And the reason why it's kind of a weak plan is that Brian de Castro is not nearly as good at killing a tick belang as this Morlock is. I say that, let's just verify.
There.
Okay, I've pulled up the profiles in Army. Brian de Castro has a higher level of martial arts, which means 1 higher point of damage, but 1 lower CC, 22 compared to 23 for the Morlock. So Brian has a lower chance, and martial arts 2 versus martial arts 3, so the only difference there is damage. Brian has a lower chance of hitting the tick belang, because he has CC 23 versus CC, so CC 22 versus 23 in the Morlock, so he is more likely to die. Unlikely, but he is more likely to die in the face-to-face roll. He's also less likely to crit. And then secondly, he's less likely to deal damage, because Bran has a DA CCW, which is considerably inferior to the EM CCW of the Morlock. So even though Bran has 1 higher damage, thanks purely to his martial arts, the Morlock has what is effectively an armor-piercing weapon, because it hits BTS, half BTS, which makes the Morlock just a much more powerful option here.
Yeah,
It's
that's what
also
I'm judging.
possible that something else entirely is being done and that there is maybe like a kill run being
Yeah.
launched on this link.
It's just really hard in
Firefight
TTS
does
to get a
not
damn good,
have has not have reinforced tactical link and does award points for lieutenant kills. So if Kyle reckons that, like for example, that this or
okay.
this, I would
Now,
say this. If
if I
Kyle
make
reckons
two,
that this is the
I've got to get all
lieutenant,
the way to
he might
behind
be
this green
going for a
box.
real
Doesn't
fucking
like it.
gauntlet run through these mines to try and score a lieutenant kill
This is a
and put
toughie.
the Pano player and lost lieutenant for a turn. I doubt it. I think he is trying to come around here
Also, there's a walk
and get into the tick belang.
Where's the war call?
But it is
Oh, yeah.
just
Standing
kind
up,
of a
okay.
it's just kind of a non-starter,
No,
unfortunately.
that makes things complicated as well.
So we'll see if he accomplishes it. He does still have see this order pool.
Okay, thank
Two
you.
of these have been spent recamoing.
This is super expensive.
Yeah, smoke would just have been better. So I think what we are actually seeing here is the death of the game. I don't think this is going to. I think the best case scenario with this order pool and 2 command tokens is that he belts the tick belling up a little bit. He might get really lucky and actually kill the damn thing, but I would be very surprised if that were the case. It is technically possible if he just moves and some discover rolls are failed. And then he gets around behind. He's got 3 orders in melee. If both command tokens are spent, which is enough, right? Is actually enough to score a kill.
No, I'm going to do what I initially thought.
It's not a great plan, but it is possible.
I'm going to move him 4 inches to here.
Okay.
So Kyle's kind of giving up another. Again, he could have bopped this decompression zone and gotten an extra inch there. Really should have. So just to point out what's happened here is he's moved in a straight line 4 inches to there. He could have moved in a slightly less than straight line and gotten into contact with the decompression zone and then had an extra inch of movement. That said, I don't think this is a particularly bad thing to forget because everyone hates decompression zones and is looking forward to them leaving. They are the worst rule in ITS.
To not be
and that's okay. So
spot I can, yes, sorry, tick belang.
Yeah, and really the play here, I mean, you just have to, at some point you just have to like hope that the line of fire, the discover rolls are not made. But fair enough. So he's moved to there. If he gets discovered again, he's going to recamo, and at that point he will have enough orders to get around to here. So it's the same thing, right? He's going to have 3 orders to get into melee with the tick belang if he spends 2 of them on command tokens. Yep, revealed and recamoing, so here he comes again. So basically this whole turn is going to come down to can...
first of all,
no, sorry, it's going to be 2 orders in melee. Can Brand Castro kill a tick belang with 2 orders in melee? I suspect the answer to that is no, because... And by kill I mean actually destroy, right? So, yeah, he would have to do 3 wounds in the first 2 attacks. No, he's only got 2 orders, so he would have to do. Yeah, he would have to do 5 wounds in 2 attacks, because or 3 wounds in the first attack and then a coup de grace. And the reason why you really need to get it to dead is that there is a freaking Palbot back here, like 2 orders away from repairing this tick belang, and Ben has 2 command tokens. Now, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world to really hope that a shock army machinist flubs this and kills the damn thing, but yeah, so. I've kind of made my thoughts clear about this. This would have been honestly like a pretty okay play if this was the first turn. Like this is a really good play in terms of like you want to reliably get a kill, or some wounds or some damage to put the shock army player in a bit of a rough position. But it kind of overlooks the fact that the tempo is with the shock army right now. There are 2 massive problems for the Nomad player in position to be massive problems. If this Dragao gets to activate, and it's probably going to, right? It might not, but if it gets to activate, it's going to come around here and short range HRMC the lizard. And then it's going to be standing here, and it'll get to do that twice, because it'll have a regular order and an irregular order. And it's going to be standing here, like, fucking what? Come at me. Because at this point, it's less of an issue to kill, like less of an issue to just put the Dragao there and kill stuff than it is to do anything else. Also unfortunate is that Tikbalang has declared a dodge against camouflage marker, which was totally a reasonable thing to do, and it has changed its facing so that Brandicastro is no longer behind it. Now, what are the odds of that? They are... Tikbalang, tell me your secrets. It dodges on, I want to say 11s, 13s. Ooh. No, that's
I have
Gizmo
one
Kit
regular,
PH13.
one irregular,
It
and one
dodges
potential
on...
convertible irregular to regular.
Okay.
It doesn't have the rule here.
So
Well,
you're
it probably doesn't like
going
11s.
to-
So, yeah. All right. When it declared dodge,
I
it
guess this is fine.
probably wasn't right to
This
double
is fine.
template the thing unless
This
you were
is
really
fine.
close. So, yeah. And here
That's
we
all
have...
you're done? Okay.
I'm
I
not
will
sure if
now
orders have been
activate
spent
the Morlock
correctly,
with its
but
irregular order.
okay. Looks like the lizard is going to activate. No, that's... I see. Okay.
2.7,
So, the
1.3,
Morlock was in this group.
to here. Arrows.
I think the correct choice was just a command token and put it into the first group and go and kill runs with it. Actually, so if the noting now that the Morlock was in this group, I just Morlock just correct play would have been to just juice the Morlock up. It's an EMCW Morlock. It is actually probably the best tag killing model in the game for its cost.
That's fine.
So
I'm
yeah.
certain the Morlock is not in your line of fire.
Yeah, for sure.
So the Morlock is coming around, and one of the benefits that Carla's identified, like a sort of good point of triage here, of Bran coming all the way around to here, is that the Morlock can now get through this cordon, because the Tikbalang to get Bran into line of fire has dropped its line of fire back to no longer be covering this gap.
I will.
So the Morlock is just going to run at this Dragao.
Okay, I'm going to launch smoke. That well and truly touches the Dragao.
Yep, so there we go.
Regular
Smoke is
order on the
down. Morlock will be running around.
I'm going to move.
Might just be moving to get into close combat.
Okay.
Kind of hard to say. Dragao's going to keep trying to dodge away, I assume.
I think you're safe from the...
If this is a Warcore irregular order...
I'm certainly safe from the Tikbalang.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll have one melee attack to belt the thing. That's not bad. It will be good. It will be good to bring this Dragao down. If the Dragao comes down, it is brought down. There's a lot of utility in that, because the Tikbalang, frankly, the Tikbalang can kill a lizard.
3 inches.
Its damage, it's damage 16. That is enough to threaten a tag. But yeah, it's still the Tikbalang versus the lizard is a better engagement, kind of a better engagement for the Nomad player than letting the Dragao live. So the Morlock has made it into close combat.
So we'll try and get away from you. So we'll go, I guess, like this.
Dragao dodges away.
I want to still be able to see the list.
I wonder what the Dragao rolled.
Let me just fine tune it. So
I'm going to spend a command token to my Warcore's irregular order regular.
Yep, so this was a Warcore order,
and
the Morlock is just going to run in on the Dragao. So this smoke was an attempt to avoid getting flamethrowered, basically. Which is what is going to happen now, is that the Dragao could make a CC attack. Its CC is 18, right, 26. Which is good. Versus 26 of the Morlock. It's probably correct for the Dragao to just heavy flamethrower and take the kill. But you know what? I mean, maybe that would be...
No worries.
Given the facing of the Morlock,
this one has clan class, the other one has...
which sort of, by the way, here's another light optimization. This Morlock is not spending any more orders this turn, its order pool is empty. This is the wrong facing. This Morlock should be facing this direction down here towards the Pano army. It has turned its back to the Tikbalang and the snipers and all the things that will kill it. I know that the intention, like when you are moving things into close combat, right, there's like always kind of there's a crit from the Morlock, so there needs to be a 15 from the Dragao if it's making a CC attack. But you should always think about your facing, even though you feel like you're running toward your enemy. If you need to moonwalk into close combat, or even if you just, right, even if the Morlock had just faced towards this manatee hauler painted by Persian, then it would at least have line of fire to all the things that it needed. But the fact that it is facing almost directly towards the Dragao is wrong, unfortunately. Oh well, we will see what happens.
Gosh darn it.
Well, it's always been like this in N4.
So it used to be that you got 1 regular damage hit and 2 BTS hits?
2 BTS. 12 should be okay.
So I think that is, yeah, so that is 2 wounds. 2 wounds, isolated, which already was, and immobilized.
15, isn't it? martial arts. Oh wait, martial arts 2. Well, let me look that up.
So
Martial
it's
arts
not
2
it's not dead,
is
but it is very
damage
badly
plus 1,
wounded.
yeah, so 14.
So
Um,
that's our
That said, it would not be dead even if it failed all 3. It would be unconscious. There's a reasonably good call in
It's already
terms of
isolated.
killing the damn
Okay,
thing
okay.
here, but
Let's
your
deal
mileage
with
may
the
vary.
tickling now.
So 3 orders left. That's it. So this is, I mean, this is good, right? It's isolated, it's mobilized, and it's very, very badly wounded.
So that'll be
It
damage
is
6 there.
not in melee with this Murloc because it
8.
is mobilized, but we will see.
14,
All right, so
she's dead.
cool. Okay, yeah. So it wasn't a close combat attack, right? He used the flamethrower. The Murloc is dead. There we go. I did wonder about that
Alrighty.
actually.
Yes, so I've already spent the order. Have I?
Mhm.
Oh, there's a building in the way.
If you move into my
A little bit of
flat,
talk about whether or not you could get into melee with the
Yeah,
tick
back
belang,
arc-
despite the
there's no way in the
Fugazi
back arc
seeing.
at all.
Yeah, no, you could easily
this
have
oh,
Bran just pop around here.
copy the cell.
The problem is that, yeah, it's just the tick belang's
Armies
gonna
have
keep
flamethrowers,
dodging.
don't
You,
they?
you,
They do.
because it's made its dodge. The question now is just, do you get in through the
So
flamethrower?
that spot is safe, I think. Want to double check it? Go ahead.
Sure.
No,
The
I'll take
players are
word
having a
for
bit
it.
of a
I'm gonna
conversation
do
about
that.
whether or not there is a way to get around into the tick belang's back
So
arc without
move
being
in
flash
to
pulsed.
not be in
The
close-
question is he
close
trying to do
contact
this
with
and
the
get into
tick
melee,
belang?
or is he trying to
Correct.
like?
Yes.
So the camouflage
Both
markers can do
tick
this
belang.
thing, right? Where
Yep.
if your opponent holds against you, you can just
will,
walk around into their back
uh,
arc and then have your merry way with them.
I will, if I
This
dodge,
is not a
I
time
dodge
for that.
first, don't I?
This
You
is
dodge
not
away from
a
me.
this is not a case where that is
Yeah,
useful
alright,
because the
I
tick belang will
will,
continue to dodge.
I'll walk into base contact with you then.
Yeah. Okay. So Bran is moving into base contact.
Keep in mind that does reveal you though.
Yeah, moving into base
Yes, but you're
contact, which
dodging.
means that he is probably going to have to be wearing
And
a
we've established the
flamethrower,
two guys you can't see me.
and he's
Just
trying to
like
position
that.
himself so that the Fugazi
Okay.
can't see.
Fail.
Okay, so the
Okay,
tick
So
belang
I'm in base
attempted
contact
to
with you. and
dodge,
good. Okay, it's good to know.
which is a little
I'm
weird.
going to activate my lizard.
Mhm.
And the lizard is going to
Okay. Lizard is presumably just
move
moving
to
out
see
to
the
try and kill
Dragao,
this Dragao. Yep,
and then
this
move
is
back a little bit.
sensible.
Okay.
So attempting to score the kill here.
Because can't do anything.
You might as well reset.
He can't. He's only got whip 12.
Oh, okay. There you go. Now, I'd still better shoot you with my HMG. I'm going to do that. I'm going to shoot you with HMG.
Yep. This will
AP
be
mode.
4 dice on
4
11s.
shots.
I'm
You
piercing
should be able to get
rounds.
the Dragao out of cover, so-
Actually, not the best chance of killing the Dragao
11
because of
and-
no wounding
okay,
capacity. Not
sweet.
no wounding capacity,
Let's
sorry,
do
because of
this.
remote presence. So 2 levels of unconscious.
So you got
3 hits.
But hey, that's 3 hits. Which actually, if he fails all of these, we'll kill it.
I roll too many dice.
You roll too many dice, which is yeah.
You'd
So
like to
it'll
reroll?
just reroll is what I would do in that case.
Two of them.
Yeah, you
Uh,
reroll.
Well,
It's-
just if do you want me to reroll them, I'm happy to.
Yeah,
do
Well,
so.
I mean,
That
it-
goes unconscious.
up to you, but I.
All right. So what happens?
The same result.
Just 1 wound. So it is unconscious. Which you
I'm
know
going to
is good.
spend,
Means
command
it doesn't
token,
have.
and I'm
One of the
going to
main things there is it means it
activate
does not have any orders.
And he's going to
Irregular or
idle is the first one
irregular
it's called.
or tactical awareness. So irregular or irregular. Duh.
AP
So we've got exactly 1 order
So I'll
left,
hit
in
you with
which
my double up
Brandicaster
plus
is
11.
hoping to basically kill this tick
I'm
belang.
CC22 martial arts 3.
Let's see. Rooting for you, buddy, but I don't think you're going to get this. I have been wrong before, though. So we got a 9 on the tick
You
belang.
beat me actually. Well, yeah.
No,
'cause
they
you rolled
tied.
a 4, which goes up to a 6.
Yep. So that is a tie. The players are doing math, but I'm telling you that is a tie because
Oh,
Brandicaster
5.
is +5.
There you go.
So Bran does nothing to the tick
That will
belang,
be
but the tick belang does nothing to
That's my
Bran.
turn.
Okay, cool.
So, where do we stand? There are a lot of orders available to this tick belang, and frankly, a fair few available to the Dragao if it is recovered. I think the most likely thing that happens here is that probably sniper rounds are fired into close combat with Bran until he is dead. And like damn the torpedoes, right? Like you can fix the tick belang. A lot depends on what combat group the machinist is in, though. That'll be an interesting one. So the other option in terms of dealing with Bran would be to fire flash pulses into melee, but I think that's probably wrong. I think you just take the Bagmarie, you move somewhere efficiently to get the shot. The most efficient thing would be to either move around to here or jump up to here. It's probably a move, but jumping up to here might give you better range. And then shoot on, what would you be? No cover, no mimetism. You'd be rolling for good range plus link versus shooting into combat, you'd be rolling for 12s. 3 dice 12s, double action rounds, probably. You actually might fire shock rounds, just in order to avoid killing your Tickbalang, and just, yeah, fire shock rounds, put down Brand de Castro, game is afoot. The reason, yeah, you wouldn't fire piercing rounds, yeah, you'd probably fire shock rounds. Once the Tickbalang is active again with this order pool, it can start probably maneuvering to fight the lizard.
That's fine.
So basically,
It's a little tricky, actually. And it's kind of the compromise that has been made to get 2 tags and a redundant core link into this list is that this list has exactly 3 moving parts, which is coincidentally why I kind of hate playing sectorals. Is that the number of moving parts available in the list feels tactically restrictive. There is nothing in this part of the table that can attack. Unless you're willing to run forward with the Machinist. It is a Shock Army Machinist, which means it has Mimetism, and BS 12. But there is nothing here that can maneuver to attack. This link would have to break and reform and leave the Sniper behind to attack, or you'd have to break something out of it. Which actually this Mine Layer would be fine for that. There is nothing here that can maneuver to attack. Your tools, you have this weirdly limited set of tools where you can't solve problems efficiently. Now, if you can bring your guns to bear, you solve them very, very efficiently, because you have, extremely large guns. But still. I don't know. Yeah, there's triangulated fire. So there is triangulated fire on this regular mine layer. That does not actually mean that it's completely safe firing into close combat, but it does still make it pretty good at it. Misses will still hit the Tickbalang, unlike in the previous edition, where triangulated fire would let you shoot into combat with no risk. But it would still be 3 dice on 9s, and the combi rifle obviously is not going to be hugely dangerous to the Tick. So we will see. Let's see what Ben does to resolve the situation.
We'll have this Nady move
Yep,
out.
alright, so the link is moving. Now, interestingly, rather than use the Bagmarie multi-sniper, who would be able to ignore Brand's Mimetism, it looks like just a regular combi is going to move to take the shot. Getting within 16, so it's going to be plus for range,
Bram will dodge.
plus for link, minus for Mimetism, minus for
I'm not sure if he can. because
shooting
he
into
can't
close combat.
see me
A bit of a
down.
question. Bran has just declared dodge.
Oh,
Bran cannot dodge. Bran does not have line of fire to the regular combi. He does not have zone of control ARO, and he does not have Sixth Sense, which would allow him to declare an ARO. So he's getting shot for free.
And I'm not in the zone of control of you, so you don't get as should be within.
So it's going to be 4 dice
does
incoming
he get
on.
ARO because he got shot?
4 dice incoming on 9s, I want to say.
Yeah,
So kind of
Bran, it's fun.
the best case scenario here is that a lot of shots miss and the Tickbalang dies. And it is possible, right? But in fact, only 1 shot will miss the close combat, which is really, really good for the
Combi
Pano
rifle,
player. So there's going to be 1
he
armor
needs
roll
to
from the
roll his
Tickbalang and
armor
3 on
one, he has to roll
Bran,
13s.
which is very, very good chance of killing the poor guy. Unfortunately, the Tickbalang does take a wound, which is
Bran is dead.
hilarious, but Bran dies. The wound on the Tickbalang is nice and not irrelevant. But yeah, we kind of see, right, all of this work to get Bran just into close combat is not enough.
Okay, so
Merely being in close combat with a tag doesn't even really neutralize it, because you can shoot so easily into close combat with tags. Even armor 6 tags. We did see the Tickbalang take a wound there. What's the odds of it failing a save against a combi rifle? What's it need to roll? It needs to roll 8s. So 35% chance to fail a save. But anyway, so the Tickbalang is clear and has this many. What's that? 7 regular and 1 irregular orders remaining. And kind of weapons free. Let's see what happens.
It's going to go 4.
This is interesting.
And we're gonna
The
spend
Palbot is making a run,
and it's gonna go
I think,
6.
towards the Dragao.
And it's going to go 4.
We are going to see some dodges soon, I think, from Riot Girl, for this Riot Girl missile launcher.
6.
Let's see. Because this is the time where you stand the Riot Girl up. You've kind of got to.
You should be getting AOIs at 2 inches to here.
Okay,
and
so
2 inches to here.
dodge has been declined. I think this is a mistake
Although now you're
because
getting close to lizard, I will care about the lizard. So let's check zone of control. Yep, I want to dodge when the lizard wants to dodge.
Okay, go for it.
So the Riot Girl
Okay,
has selected
Lizard
not
has
to
a
stand,
dodge
basically.
on
And
it
she
because
would have
11.
stood up on 13s,
I can't
not
see
having
you, so
6th
be on
sense
an
anymore,
8.
blah, 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 blah.
I failed to dodge
The
it.
Lizard is going to try and dodge, but it doesn't really matter because you can't... This Dragao is in base contact with this building. The Lizard would not be able to see the Palbot in any case.
20 inches to here.
Yep.
And we'll see
So, yeah.
if he actually makes it. He actually makes it, so this is the dumbest thing ever.
So
So,
can I see you is the question.
we are going to
I
see
bet there's a
a
way you can
repair.
make it such that you'll be able to get in to touch the Dragao without being seen by the Lizard.
I think that is the case because the Dragao should be blocking it.
Oh, that's a fair point because the Dragao's not prone. Yep, no,
Yeah.
go for it. I'll be dodging though.
Yep, go for it.
So,
Then we'll
the Dragao is both unconscious, isolated, and immobilized. 2 checks will
Well,
fix
it
that.
Choice of either
So it
put
presumably
the
cancels the
Dragao
unconscious first,
in terms of structure, or we're paying it state. So this is actually kind of stupid, but it's
because
whatever.
you don't
So
fix
this will
everything
build
all at once,
structure, so
but you will fix unconscious,
we succeed. So the
Yep.
Dragao is
and then we'll fix isolated and immobilized.
remaining now.
Yep.
Oh no, he's fixing
But he
wounds.
should still be isolated and immobilized, as far as I know. I'm
Correct.
just gonna double check that.
But I believe it's only one possible.
So this is a slightly sketchy decision that Ben has made. As far as I can tell from the order expenditure,
Just to do it.
right? The machinist is in combat group 2. It has gotten to the Dragao. It is recovered unconscious. It has restored a wound. It has not fixed the immobilized or isolated states. That was dumb. Ben, that was the wrong thing to do. Although the Dragao is kind of like, yes, it is effectively cock blocking this Lizard from doing anything, at least in terms of this zone of approach.
Do it.
An isolated immobilized Dragao is totally mobility killed, and you can't engineer in ARO. So yeah, this is weird because it is much easier to kill a 2-wound isolated immobilized Dragao than it is to kill a 1-wound active Dragao. So I slightly question this decision. Possibly he wasn't counting orders and he just sort of ran out without realizing. But the decision to heal a 2nd wound, even just as a matter of question, right? Like fix the most important things first in priority before you do anything else. So you fix unconscious, because an unconscious tag is unconscious, right? It's not useful to anyone. Then you clear off the states. Then you go about restoring additional wounds. There's no point jumping the gun there. You do the things that are most important to you in order. So, not going to say game-losing mistake, because, you know, this can go either way, and this wouldn't be the end of it, regardless of what happens. But that was kind of categorically not the right thing to do, and probably going to be punished for it.
No, I have moved the Bagmoy here. I'm just talking about the waking words I need to move.
Yeah.
Which I should have done before you said what you did.
Alright.
How the fuck did the Bagmarie get there? I heard the players talking about it. I had the recording paused while they were faffing around, but it literally just teleported from this corner to up there. Ben, I don't. Alright, whatever. This may have been while I was moving the link, I could have been doing X, but my dude, that is sketch, right? Like, you were not doing X while you moved the link, and 4 orders have been spent. I mean, whatever. The players are presumably fine, but like, what? This is also, we know, this is like 2 climb skills to get up there. This is 4.5 inches. There is some liberal fucking movement, and Bagmarie, unless I'm going mad, do not have climbing plus. They are good troops, but they're not Karhu. Okay, I mean, I guess there's a face-to-face roll here. Probably more than...
I hit you 2 times. I should have said which ammo I was using.
Why
You
were
tell
there
me
only
what you
2
like, I don't
dice?
mind.
I
I don't understand anything here.
Okay, no worries.
Ben did not roll
So
enough
damage
dice.
15, I believe.
Couple of hits,
AP,
couple
no
AP
cover.
rounds probably.
So down to 12, minus 4.
Let's see what
armor.
goes.
So
1 wound to the
I
tag,
pick a wound and I guts away.
and it gets out of line of fire. This would be an excellent time for the Riot Girl missile launcher to stand up, actually. I say excellent, 2 dice 13s to 2 dice 12s, but, you know, hey, you'll absolutely blow its brains out if you land that hit, so, you know, go for it. Also, wouldn't be terrible to move the Riot Girl Spitfire up around here, prone, and then around here to take this gunfight. What the fuck is this HV2? Anyway, Jesus, that's some pointless cheesecake. And take that face-to-face roll there. That would be 4 dice 13s to 2 dice 12s. Again, pretty good face-to-face roll, but we will see.
He'll go.
The riot girl, like this is,
He'll basically try to end
if
up.
these problems had been solved, right? If this tag was dead, it's not, and you have to kill this, by the way. Like this cannot, if this survives another turn, and the Palbot doesn't die,
They've got stuff to do
then
with,
4 orders get spent fixing this damn thing, because Ben's still got 2 command tokens. Tikbalang has pulled back to a relatively defensive position. So there is the potential here for a Nomad recovery, which is really cool. I mean, Kyle is a good player, but I like there have been some. This was just a mistake. And well, so only a few orders left. Moving back, Tikbalang pulling back. It's wounded. It'll probably but not certainly, will get healed up because this Palbot's a long way away. And where's the other Palbot? It's back there, which was sort of positioned speculatively, possibly needing a tag on this location. Cracks are showing. Cracks are showing in the Pano position. This thing has to die. The Tikbalang no longer has to die because of how far back it is, but it needs to be something needs to be done. If this Bagmarie goes down and this Dragao goes down and nothing is lost on the Nomad turn, it's not a bad situation, just because as many casualties as the Nomads have suffered, they're collectively not a huge amount of points more than the Dragao. Like, I mean, Brandicastro dying sucks, 2 zeros. That point you're at Dragao cost, but it's sort of vaguely salvageable for the Nomads. Potentially there's a Nomad win here, we just have to see. Oh, I figured out why the Bagmarie was only rolling 2 dice. Decompression zone. Well, the players remembered, I didn't, just as well.
Over there. Alright.
Alright. Nomad turn 2 begins.
6 regular orders. 1, 2, 3.
One of the nice things is that
5,
there's
6.
still a pretty solid, like,
And
reasonably
that's
solid,
minus in a regular order.
semi-permeable.
Impetuous
there is
phase.
an order pool here.
The
It's
more it comes around that corner,
not a
I don't
lot.
think you can
It's
shoot
not
it, so
massive,
I'll
but
do
it is an order pool.
Just
How do I
looking
play
at
this if I am in Kyle's
the
shoes?
you probably see some
The lizard
Oh,
engages and destroys the
okay.
Dragao. It
Oh,
just
is that
kind of
the-
has to. Priority number
okay,
1.
then I won't do it then.
Feasibly, have you flamethrower to
Thanks
kill
for
the
that.
Palbot? Because
I
if you
will
kill
do
the
that.
Palbot, you buy
And
yourself some time.
Regular face.
Once that happens,
I will activate.
so
my
this
lizard.
I don't
With its
because the
tactical
players
awareness
didn't measure it,
order.
but the players should have measured the range to this Bagmarie. If the
And I
Bagmarie is
will
within 32 inches, you probably risk the
just pop
engagement
her in
with
the
the lizard.
corner. And
If the Bagmarie was
Well,
not within
slightly back.
32 inches, you
Okay,
engage
so
with
there
the
we go.
Riot Girl missile launcher.
do you
Now,
see
I
the
would
Bagmarie
rather
do that?
engage with the Riot Girl
Is the
Spitfire.
Bagmarie seen first? No.
I would rather
I think
engage with the
geometrically I've seen
Riot
it
Girl
kick out
Spitfire,
first.
but you don't have
So
enough
I'll do
orders.
that.
This is not a big enough pool.
Okay.
So the Riot Girl missile launcher is kind of just a have-to-do situation.
I will shoot
And the
at
reason why you start making
Dragao
rolls
with
like that is that you are
engage MG.
behind. And when you are behind, you make more aggressive, riskier plays to try and get back ahead. Now, as it is, it looks like the players have agreed that range is good, and that is a really nice roll. That is an excellent roll from the Lizard. Basically, he's just hoping that we don't see... oh, it was shooting into the Dragao. Okay, fair enough. So the Dragao is unconscious again, and it only has, I want to say... It's unconscious level... What was it? 3 fails? The dice roll is gone, but it's unconscious level 2. Cool. So it's now quite easy to kill again. Bit of a question again is, do you use the flamethrower or
Okay,
not?
I'll
Just
activate the
because there's
lizard
still a
and I'll pop
Palbot
out
there,
Cedric
but I
out
think
again,
at this
pop back.
point you're easy enough. Just destroy it. 4 dice, wipe it out. 2 orders. Pay the piper. Okay.
Miss all of them.
Miss everything. Try
Do it again.
again.
Oh, do your Palbot dodge first.
I think he's
That's a bit unfortunate, but it does occasionally happen.
both of the dodges that we've missed.
And this is going to be, yeah, so this basically means that the last few orders will be spent killing this Bagmarie. Now, the game's not done at that point, but Ben has to be aware that he's probably winning. And
Alright.
winning on points.
regular
So
order,
Ben can
activate the
spend
lizard,
his
same
last
thing.
turn playing defensively
You dodge again?
and
I'll dodge, yep.
trying to do classifieds.
So you've hit 2 times.
2 hits into the Dragao, 1 failure here will kill it, and it dies.
So
Alright,
you should kill him at this
so the
point.
Dragao is finally dead. Now, again, this
And the
should
Bagmar is
ideally have been done
shitty
earlier.
range for
At the
me,
same time, Ben
so I
absolutely
need
should not have
to
put the
manage
Dragao in a
that.
position where he could not fight
Getting
back.
skirmishes.
He should have repaired the isolated and mobilized, but what's been done has been
Yeah,
done.
outside 32.
We're all, you know,
Mimetism
we'll do
also
things slightly
means I'm
differently
not
for
good.
different reasons.
Alrighty,
Just the same way that like
Bagmar is
Kyle
here.
spent time trying to isolate rather than possess the tag. So 5 orders left to spend, no command
I've got
tokens.
4 regular orders.
Lieutenant
and
order
one
that's not
regular
going to be
order
spent.
command tokens. I will activate
The
my Right Girl duo.
Okay, so the Riot Girl duo is going to take the
And so
fight.
it'll
Now they
be
probably have enough
Roaches
orders to get
there,
around and take
4
this kill.
Roaches here.
They are highly unlikely to be able to do anything else. But if they kill the Bag Marie,
Arrows.
then what do we got? The Acontecimento player
and the
is
Spitfire
down
player.
about 100 points.
Okay.
And there is the potential that if like no casualties are inflicted in the last turn, then you're good. You're golden. I am still kind of inclined playing
Activate again.
Playing to not lose in this situation,
Now,
playing to like
soonest
maybe
I'll
not
see is
die,
if
I
come
think is a
around
mistake.
here, I think.
You do have last turn. There are
So
things you can do
I'll
in the
do
last
that.
turn.
Bear in mind,
If
once
nothing
you
else,
lose this
these citizens are
Thanks for
classified.
letting me know. Yep, good
Um,
point.
but
Okay.
yeah, they've just sort of checked line of fire there. He's going to have to be prone to make this move. The reason why I think it's better to use the Riot Girl missile launcher in this case
Mind if
is
I
that
take the
as the
order back?
Nomad player, you're behind.
Oh, the whole
You
thing?
make risks.
Yeah, I don't mind.
You make risks to get ahead, to get back ahead. If the Riot Girl is standing, this Bag Marie is not in cover,
Yeah,
and she ignores its mimetism. So she's rolling 2 dice on 15s to its 2 dice on 12s. I may have said 2 dice 13s before, that was wrong. So 2 dice 15s to 2 dice 12s. Sorry, 2 dice 16s to 2 dice 12s. Given that she is a heavy infantry, likely to survive a double action round back. Oh, sorry, 1 dice 16s to 1 dice 12s.
Warlock instead.
Okay.
And the Warlock
Okay. I mean, still, right? I think you just go for it.
And we establish there's no arrows for you. I will then
Yeah.
attempt to launch smoke out to here.
Because of the
Try
decompression
and
zone.
block the tick belang.
Mhm.
So it's a crappy range, I dare say, but I could be lucky. We'll
Remember
see.
that you can.
I think you still go for it. So, and the reason why, right, is that if the Riot Girl is standing and she's killed the Bag Marie, right? Like she's got good odds of doing
it's
that.
outside 8, so I'll just do that.
She's got
anyways.
okay odds of doing that.
What
It
am I
means that the
launching?
last remaining weapons available to the Acontecimento player are the Sapper Sniper, who can't get to the. She can't see the missile launcher, can't get to it.
I'm going to.
And if it does, it's not going
spend
to be
2 regular-
linked.
Oopsie daisy, spend 2 regular
And
orders.
the Tick Balang. And the Tick Balang doesn't
Like
actually
here.
love fighting the Riot
Let's do the
Girl.
whole movement again. 'cause
If she
I've
wins
lost
that
track a bit.
face-to-face roll,
So move
then
Warlock out of the way.
and like
Gets
yes,
2
I
inches to
know it
here,
moves to here,
4
and there's a
inches to
decompression
here.
zone, and
Epicenter is
but if she wins that
6 inches
face-to-face
to
roll, she
here,
potentially kills it.
and
That's a
then
damage
2
15
inches
missile launcher.
forwards,
It's a risky fight for her,
forwards,
and
then
because
we
of her
Warlock
armor
back
and
where he
because of the
was.
cover, and yes, even because of
That
the
was one
decompression zone,
one
although it is
order.
more likely to win the roll, the face-to-face
And
roll,
then
because of the
second
decompression
order,
zone than if it
6
didn't
inches
exist.
to here.
It's not hugely likely to kill her to dead
Could be lucky. Yeah,
in
I
a
think
single
I
order.
make it.
Which means that if things go to
6
pot,
inches to
you can
here,
guts prone,
then
conserve your
AROs,
points,
none,
right? That's the advantage of heavy
2 inches
infantry,
forwards,
and then see what you do last turn.
2
In
inches
any case,
forwards.
instead, right, so the players have been like, cool, the Tick Blank can see down here, smoke's going to happen, and a duo is moving forward. I mean, under normal circumstances, I would really like this, because the Riot Girl duo is a solid piece to engage this Bag Marie. It's still something that you want to kill. She's going to have to take the fight out of cover by moving in a straight line, I think, but maybe he can get to cover, who knows. You can't move over the citizens, so it's... The presence of the citizen here actually makes it kind of tricky to engage the Bag Marie from cover, but I'm not sure the players will notice that.
If I've got enough movement. No, I probably don't have enough, so I'm just going to stay where I am.
Yep.
I would have pulled back a bit.
So we're going to have a face-to-face roll here between the Bag and the Riot Girl. It's kind of the same thing, right? Like, she's got a regular order left to do this. If she goes unconscious, Avesiena will fix her. She's got a decent chance of winning this face-to-face roll. The missile launcher would have a worse chance of winning the face-to-face roll, but not a massively worse chance, because it has the Bag Marie out of cover, and if the missile launcher wins the face-to-face roll, it destroys the Bag. Now, as it is, a 10 and a 13. 13 is a crit. That's really good. So there's going to be a crit and a hit, so 3 saves from the Bag Marie, which is a pretty good chance of bringing it down. Yeah, there it goes. So it's dead. So, not punished. The fact that the
Anonymous
Riot Girl
member
had to
order, I'm
engage
going
amount of
to
cover, not the end of the
pull the
world.
right girl
There's one order left to
back a
do
bit, just
something
'cause
with, and
it's
she's
a bit
pulling back.
safe
Okay.
and just turn around a
So
bit,
we look at the
prone.
end state
Not
here
gonna do that, we
for
do the same with our
Nomads. They've scored
and
a
then she's gonna
kill
spend
that
do a
they had to
unspecified
get,
whip
which is on
roll,
the Dragao, and they've
Yeah,
killed the
go for it.
Bagmarie. And in terms of the
and she'll
points that are
pass.
dead,
She get my classified objective,
this is not
which
the worst.
was
Uh,
follow up.
Also, the
Follow
Riot
up
Girl has
is
done a classified on the
is it
HVT.
control skill single
Follow up
yep,
using
so
her MSV.
done that. Okay,
So
I've got my
that is a
Bagmarie,
really
that's
really
my
good
zone.
use of the last order.
Okay.
That
And
means
they're
that
both prone now.
there are 2 classifieds left for
Minus the
for
Bagmarie,
Kyle to do, and one of them right now he's doing just by securing the HVT. So in terms
Oh
of
yeah, fair
like
point.
making a go of this, and actually that right for all that I was saying, the Riot Girl Miss Eldritch should stand up and take this fight just because it's the like ballsy play that potentially wins the game on attrition. Of course, I did not know Kyle's classifieds. Knowing that he has follow up, yeah, oh sure, 100%. You can score an objective point by doing follow up if you play your cards right. Fantastic. So. I do not have perfect information, and the reason why, by the way, there's a game master function in addition to a spectator function. I'm presently using spectator function because if I'm using the game master function, I can touch and move everything, and I really shouldn't do that. I am dragging the map around. I am looking at things. I'm mousing over stuff. If I could pick and drag models around, high chance of disrupting the player's game, and I don't want to be able to do that even by accident. So. We pick up the game state again. We have solid order pool. It looks like command tokens. Yeah, okay, cool. So what's going to happen is that order pools are being consolidated, and there's kind of just like a vestigial set of orders here that I probably think the machinist is in. Ben is going to be looking to either score kills over here, or kill the lizard, or do classifieds and open panoplies.
The lizard is supposed to be behind this building.
Any of those is potentially good. All of them are also potentially difficult. The Tikbalang, I don't know whether he's moved it, right? He's already spoken. Okay, cool. So the Tikbalang is moving. Wherever it goes, it's not going to get the best face-to-face roll.
Yep, no worries.
The lizard can engage from up here. But it's not likely to kill the lizard, and the lizard will guts back into total cover. These models, it's going to be engaging at close range, although that's not terrible. It has a heavy flamethrower. The heavy flamethrower will completely ignore the citizen. Yeah, so we'll see. It looks like he is moving forward aggressively, potentially to this corner. The decompression zone is not the best place to engage from because it hobbles your burst without impacting the lizard, but he also could be moving up to kill these Riot Girls. Let's have a squiz.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Alright, so it's moving around. It's going to come to these crates here and then around here to C.
Spend an order on the tick.
Yep.
Pretty good chance of killing this Morlock and then these 2 Riot Girls.
Just establish line of fire, so if I move...
Yep, so here it comes. I'm just going to check Comlog really quickly because I'm interested in scoring for Firefight specifically.
Would you like to?
So there are points for killing more specialists, there are points for killing more lieutenants, there are points for killing more army points. There's 1 point for more panoplies and there are classifieds. Now, it does not look like there will be lieutenant kills made this game.
Beta 15.
And do you want to check zone of control?
In terms of specialist kills, Ben
I quit on an 18.
has that. Almost certainly.
Damage 16, so I need 1 armor, I think. He's okay.
In terms of army kills, Ben has that.
But smoke doesn't go down. He's gonna try and guts
In
away.
terms of everything else, it's pretty open. So Ben right now is sitting on 4 points if he has more army point kills, and he probably does.
He's getting out of dodge.
Kyle is sitting on 1 classified.
Okay.
And that's it.
And do you want to check zone of control?
I did already, it's fine.
Oh, you already did it. Okay, cool.
If this Tikbalang dies, I suspect Kyle is sitting on more army points. Which flips the script pretty considerably because then also Kyle will be on more HVTs and can spend his last turn opening literally 1 panoply. And that would be something that is really useful to do, right? Is literally open one panoply
12.
and you score 1 point in addition to whatever you get out of the panoply.
I could also go for the flamethrower.
Oh, this is gonna be.
Like, move up.
What's the tick gonna be rolling? Yeah, it'll roll up to there. It's probably going to try and force a dodge from the Riot Girl with its heavy flamethrower,
There's actually something doing it, so
and then
it's
it'll
actually
engage
okay.
with its HMG when she dodges, but we'll see.
Is blocking it. I
Fucking do it, mate. Do it.
Okay,
And
so
don't think we've
the
seen
tick is
anything
moving in
else,
a
but
YOLO
let's
fashion.
have a
Now,
look.
Avicienna's facing is a little risky here,
I'd say
which is to
no.
say that she's literally facing towards this table
But
edge.
you would get zone
So
and
she's
dodge
probably
also.
about to get wrecked.
Yeah, they'll
But
both dodge.
we will see. So both are going to dodge.
So
The tick Balang is rolling
I
on
want to avoid you
12s
dodging
with its
these
HMG, and it has a very healthy order pool left.
So
So literally the only play
What's a
here
tick-flying CC?
is to try and get into close combat with the damn
17.
thing, and then belt it, and maybe do something about that in a subsequent turn. The high likelihood here is the tick Balang scores the kills, and oh, it lays a mine.
So there's a mine here.
This is kind of showboating. Like, I get it, but 2 dodges have been declared. Avicena can get around this corner if she succeeds. Tick Balangs have mines, and that is cool, but like,
Okay.
just kill, Ben, just kill
And then
them.
you get your dodges.
You're showboating with this. This
Yep,
is like, I know you've got
yes, I'll
orders, but
dodge.
literally just fucking kill them. You are
So,
rolling
both in zone
4 dice
control.
on 12s.
They can't be seen,
Blow
so
them
it's
up.
-3.
Oh well, let's
Right
see what
goes
happens.
on
How do the dodges
13.
go?
She fails on a 15.
Avicena
Avicenna
fails,
will be
and the Riot Girl
on
fails.
a 8. She fails, obviously. 18. There you go.
That.
I have this vague
Well,
sense that the players are under the impression that HVTs block line of sight,
see, I don't know if
which
it's
is making me
fine.
doubt myself, but I'm like 90% sure that
I'll
they
let
don't.
you make the call.
They don't block line of sight, they
Yeah,
do
you can
impede
do the right call.
movement, they don't block
Okay.
templates.
Oh, wait, let's have a look. Let's put the silhouette down. Okay.
Alright, quick correction issued to the
Well,
players.
we are
Civilians
where
don't
we
block
are.
line of fire, they weren't aware.
Open fire.
So I suspect we're going to see some HMG
Okay, so
rounds.
will you
That
still
actually
dodge
makes
it?
sense of the shock
Yeah,
mine,
still dodge,
right?
right,
Because
still dodge.
if Ben
Yeah,
thought
the
that he
white guy,
couldn't
the
see,
-3 to my dodge because
then
it's a mine.
okay, all right,
even
cool.
against
So
the
yeah, we're going to see a
next one.
HMG rounds
Mine,
probably
but
perforate the
against
Riot Girl now.
my shooting.
All right, no, game state
Against the
restored. It is
tick
what it
Balang,
is.
you'll be on your normal
I just sort of
value.
jumped off of mute
So
in the chat
basically
really
you'll have-
briefly
So you'll still
to give
roll
him
one
give him the
dice
quick
and
heads
it'll
up.
go against
But yes,
everything.
and I confirmed in
But you
ITS Season
compare
12
that
as well.
minus
Civilians
the
do not block
value
line of
against
fire.
the mine, but your like base.
Now
average value against
the mine
Yep.
if that makes sense.
will struggle
So
to
I think the
detonate
tick
though.
Balang will put 2 shots into both of them or something.
It probably can hit Avicena.
Okay.
It probably can't
Alright,
hit the Riot Girl.
let's do the right girl first.
Let's see what
On
happens.
a 16 against the tick Balang.
So Riot Girl rolling
And
for a
13 against the mine.
16/13. She rolls a 1, so she
So
dodges the
16
mine
against
if
tick
the mine
Balang.
was going
So
to
you
go
just beat a
off.
1. Easy
Tick
peasy.
Balang
12, I believe.
hits her twice. In
Good,
fact,
gonna
hits
hit.
her and crits her.
Are you in cover versus? No.
I'm sure you can shoot me in a way that I'm out of cover.
Yep, so that's a hit and a
Make that
crit
happen.
against the Riot Girl.
Let's say you're hitting me out of cover.
And then Avicena.
Alrighty, but
Riot
I
Girl
take
just
all the
spangs
hits.
it, which is pretty awesome.
And then we'll do Avicena. So against
Avicena
so
dodging
one will
on
succeed against the mine. But
high
the other
likelihood
two
of just
tick
dying
Balang,
to the
so
mine here,
right
but let's see
girl's
what happens. She's probably looking for like an 8. What's her fizz? 11?
Scot-free, but you have to do a guts roll.
Fizz 11. Yep, cool.
And I'm within.
And then Avicena.
Does she make
She
it?
has fizz 11.
So she dodges the mine, which is good, and then there's 2 tick Balang
And she
shots
gets to move
incoming.
now. So she will dodge 2, which is
Which, yeah, okay, she's good. She actually succeeds that.
and she'll turn around as well.
And she gets around
Oh,
into
is there going to
cover.
be a scary monster down this channel? No, there isn't. No, tick Balang
Yep.
was that scary
Okay,
monster.
so
he's
that
gonna
is
be-
good, actually. The fact that Avicena gets into cover, she has a flash pulse, she can dodge. There are a number of things that could potentially happen here.
Good point. I will fail guts and move. I don't think I can do anything because I can't get cover. So
Yep, alright.
it's academic.
So there are 5 orders basically that can be spent, assuming
So
that Ben
next
has
thing.
been spending orders correctly. 5 orders that can be spent on this engagement, and there's really not any way for the poor Riot Girl to get out of this, just because of the threat of the flamethrower. Let's see what happens.
We'll put 4 shots into
Another
Avicena
move,
this
another
time.
dodge.
Okay.
Would Avicena ever get in cover?
Well, at the start
I
of
think
movement,
it
she
would.
wouldn't because I felt that you'd have made it happen such a way that you would have.
Avicena?
4 shots coming in from the tick Balang. There's probably a
I
crit
failed to
in there
dodge.
somewhere.
So I got
Some armor rolls being made,
Uh,
and she's dead.
Surely she's dead.
I think
Now,
she's
she's
dead.
got
She's dead.
bioimmunity.
She's got bioimmunity.
So let's not go through all that.
This is a bit of an issue.
Exercise for nothing.
Now,
Okay.
with 2 inches of dodge, absolutely, Kyle could have gotten her into cover, and if he had gotten her into cover, she would have been
7.
alive right now. Because she has bioimmunity, she rolls BTS 3,
Did you put anything against the right
plus
girl?
cover on those saves.
No.
However,
Okay.
and like kind of
She will
reasonably,
try and dodge
he just
away
went
from
for
you.
maximum distance to try and avoid the flamethrower template. But if you look at how the interaction is likely to go, what the tick plane wants to do is use its flamethrower to force you to dodge so it can shoot you with its HMG. And under that circumstance, almost what you want to do is like
So
you
you
take
see the
cover
right
because
girl
it's
started
you're
this
gonna be
order?
declaring dodges anyway. So take the cover so that it's less likely to kill you with a HMG. She would be
okay, fair point.
100%
Yep, no
alive
point.
right now if
I'll
she had
dodge
been
again.
in cover, thanks to bioimmunity. But hey, it is what it is. Small optimizations, little things that can change the game. If it turns out that Avicina makes the points differential in terms of like getting over the line,
Literally,
if it turns
Avicina
out
just
that
died.
one specialist kill makes the difference,
Avicina just
unlikely,
died.
then we'll know.
Yeah,
But
it's just
in this
that
particular case, it's just something to
onesie-
sort of bear in mind,
my
is that you can
thinking
make
works
small
that
optimizations in
onesie
your
never
play,
triggers
and one of them is if you can be in
for
cover,
the white
be
girl
in
because you're
cover.
winning team, so technically you're not
Kyle
dead.
needed very, very little of his base
100%. So
obscured behind
because
this
Avicina
building
just
in order to be
died,
safe from
and
a
I was
tick
linked into it just
tick
now,
belang, as in
it's
cover.
impossible for her to
So,
be frenzied. 'Cause
oh well, we'll see what
haven't
happens
killed
here.
anything
Tick belang is
yet.
continuing to engage. The right girl is making a run for it to get back to here.
Twelve.
There are a lot of shots
I
sort of
have to get
incoming.
other dice, but
I'm not sure why 3 dice, but looks like 1 hit there. Maybe it was firing something into something else.
So you dodge.
So the right girl makes a dodge. Now right girls dodge well, but not far. So they dodge on 16s, but they don't dodge a long way. So this face-to-face was going to happen again. She has a decent chance of living here. This is 1 dice 16s to 4 dice 15s. And if she just survives or even just tanks some rolls, she'll get to cover. And I'm not going to say a riot girl will kill a tick belang, but
Yep.
she's not the worst. Like, she's for real, it's not terrible. it's genuinely not terrible. So, and things can happen.
16.
Let's see what she
7.
rolls. She got a 7. The tick belang has got an 8, a 10, and a 14. So, no, she's unconscious.
That'll put her unconscious, I dare say. Wait, so
So-
cover and so 6.
Oh,
17.
maybe she
We're
had
looking for
cover
17th,
there.
aren't I?
Yes, so 11's fine, but the 9's
11's fine.
Cool.
one
So she
wound.
survives with 1
I'm gonna
wound.
try and guts
All right.
away.
So, and the reason why she had cover is she'd gotten far enough back that the tick belang,
1.5.
because Ben was moving out to this part of the
Dodge me.
table here,
Once it's
rather than
the-
aggressively
I can't
forward
seem to-
towards her,
measuring.
she still
How
had
is it?
cover.
How like I haven't moved it at all, and it's saying an inch. Like it makes no
Are you
sense
in
at
3D
all.
mode or 2D mode?
I don't know. Let's have a look. 3D
It might
mode.
be, it might be
So-
because of the hitbox, he's like lifting you up.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. 'Cause,
So
like,
she's
I've
gotten
literally not moved
she's
and it's saying an
gotten
inch,
to
so
cover,
I don't understand
into
it.
total cover. In fact, there are only a couple of orders left.
Alright, very good.
At this point, the right thing for Ben to do is probably to take a console, to take a panoply rather, because Kyle, like pretty much his last turn has to be kill the tick belang.
Dodge.
No, don't dodge that, damn it. Okay, so this is a mistake. There are like really no orders left. The riot girl could be dodging on 16s or shooting on 16s. And if she shoots, she's got a good chance of wounding the thing. She could have just put a damage 15 hit on this tick belang, not in cover. Now, sure, okay, you want to survive, you want to get out of cover, but again, you're like the Nomad player is behind here. Not a lot, but it's behind. Take risks to get ahead. Oh well, because she was out of flamethrower range. That's 100% out. Like I can't just roll a d20, but if this tick belang, which is already wounded, takes another wound, then the odds of her killing it in next turn go up considerably. So, yep. That is a gunfight I would
This is your third
100%
final
have
turn, yeah?
taken. That's 1 dice on 16 for the damage 15 Spitfire. Now, as is, it is still wounded. She can take the face-to-face roll. She can move to engage it. I think the lizard is going to struggle to get line of fire to the tick belang. I just don't think he can. I think the lizard, frankly, is going to spend its tactical awareness order killing a pal bot. Which means that the like 4-ish orders that Kyle has in the rest of his pool have to be spent killing this Tigbalang and opening a
Have this
console.
Fugazi
And if he
anyway.
does
Yep.
that, he probably
Select
wins.
between two.
Probably wins by a couple of points actually.
He'll
So
win
there
most
was
of
kind
the
of like
until the move
a win on the
6, so
table
it doesn't
here,
matter.
but now it's harder because this Riot Girl has to do 2 wounds to the Tigbalang rather than 1. Now, yep, okay, sure, the Tigbalang would have saved against the Spitfire on 10s, but
And it's your turn.
Sweet.
you know,
Alrighty, so
everything counts.
that's
And I'm
Graham
being
Center.
presumptuous by assuming that it would have failed its
Warlock's
armor
still
roll, but
around.
like
Transductor walk. Can't do
this
shit
game
because
always
it's made of
punishes,
mate.
always
Think
punishes that
about
kind
it.
of move.
Alrighty,
So
let's look at some
we will see. Let's see what
orders.
happens.
I have 5 regular orders. Am I right?
Yep. So
And my
5
lieutenant
regular
order.
orders, 1 irregular order that belongs to
Just talk to myself.
the
Alright, Impetuous.
Thingo
Tigbalang's
and
here. I would definitely running straight into it.
and sorry,
It.
and
I'm going
there's an
to.
irregular order on the tag.
Oh, it's a Morlock.
So just
Is there
deciding
any
whether or not
benefit
to
at all to me
impetuous with the
running
Morlock.
out and doing that?
It is a no wound and cap Morlock. I mean, it can't. It
There's literally no
can die
benefit.
to
It
the
would just
Tigbalang, but it's
add
very
points to
unlikely
your
to.
tally, so I won't do that. I'm going to burn the Impetuous order.
I would almost be
I'm going
inclined to just
spend
run this Morlock forward and take the shot,
next.
but
Oh, forgot about
we'll see.
the tactical awareness order. I've already got that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh no, I haven't already because it's
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's actually
Alrighty.
genuinely a play where you literally run this Morlock 8 inches at the Tigbalang,
What I would like to do
and
is
if
use
it
my lizard
hits
to kill
you
your Tickbalang. That's what
and
I
you
want
make
to
your
do.
save, you keep running at it, and if it misses you, you keep running at it, and if it wounds you, you stop and you save your points. Because it's no
Lizard
wound and cap
fast
Morlock.
boy.
Like the only way you can die in one shot is to a crit.
Got
Because
a
this is a HMG, not a
Reese of
multi HMG.
right girl here.
Now the best
That's
chance
nasty shit.
that the best like fight that
Whoop.
Kyle has
Whoop.
is decompression zone. Riot girls don't have 0G, do they? No. So she'd stop when she hits this decompression zone.
Place is just a complete
Tigbalangs have
wasteland of
multi-terrain?
Tickbalangs and Dragars just floating around.
No, just jungle. Yeah. I
Mm,
kind of feel like the Tigbalang may have been ignoring these
I came
decompression
out to
zones the whole
here.
game.
Wait, can I see you if I'm at that box? No.
What's the play
Come
here?
up to here.
Move up to the decompression
Best
zone.
option.
How many Fugazi are on Overwatch? There's
Okay,
this one
Let's do
here.
it. Tactical awareness order on the lizard.
Mhm.
Up you get. Let's go.
Alright. Looks like the lizard's trying to do it.
3.5 and
So it's going to have to kill the Palbot,
1.5.
and then it'll have
Any arrows?
5 regular orders to spend,
I will.
which it wants to
give
use
it-
to
I
get
don't
to
really
here.
shoot Palbot.
So remember that you can't move over the power bot.
Can't
because
I?
it's enemy trooper.
Ah, right, okay. Alright, well, I guess I have to shoot it then. I will shoot the Palbot.
So I think the movement would have been 6 inches to here, 4 inches to here,
Go in bad way, so
3.
it'll be -6.
up to here and to here.
And I'm on 10.
How far do you have to go to see this Tigbalang? God, pretty far, all the way up to here, yeah. So it's you spend two of your 6 orders moving basically 20 inches to here, and then you move
How
up
much
to
is
here
it,
and you
though?
engage the
I
Tigbalang.
don't think they have armor.
Oh no, there's a bloody
don't, so
Fugazi.
okay.
You have to stop to kill the Fugazi. So it's move,
No, it'd be
Alright.
double on
move
combat
across the
speed.
gap,
Double,
fight the
yes.
Fugazi, don't get
Okay.
flash pulsed,
Actually,
kill
did
the
they have weapons
Fugazi,
still?
move up to here,
No. Okay.
Sorry, say that again?
fight this
This is
Fugazi,
taking if they
don't
have
get flash
weapons.
pulsed.
Yep.
This probably
Alright,
takes 4
so
orders, which leaves you
let's
with
go.
2 to engage the Tigbalang. You spend 1 trying to fight the Tigbalang.
Block on advance. Alright, 6 inches to
Um,
here.
Yep.
Alrighty. No arrows, did I just
1 trying to
say?
fight the
Let's go.
Tigbalang, and then you press a button.
4 inches to here.
Oh, except that the lizard can't press the button because it can't
Activate.
fit its base inside those 2 decompression zones.
Now,
So
I need to
that's
get to about
just
here before
awesome.
I start seeing you. So,
Who loves decompression
they're
zones?
bagmaries and shit around the place.
Why are they
I see
0V?
Sapper or something up there.
0G, sorry.
Safe.
Oh well,
So walk
game is coming to a
There's a
close.
Sapper up here.
At this point, I am
I need to get-
tentatively
I need to get here.
saying
Yeah,
that
I
it's
need to get
a Acontecimento game, just off of the back of specialist kills. But it is a close run
Okay.
thing. I'm also
Alright.
assuming that
Well,
tag pilots, that Crabots don't count as
I'll
specialist
move
kills, but I'm not
to
100% on
backdated.
that.
Oh,
Either way,
would you like to
definitely
flip the
more
flash
specialist
pulse
kills
before?
right now
Actually,
by the
wait.
Pano
So
player,
I shot
thanks
you,
to
and then I moved, didn't I?
Avicenna, the Zero
And then-
hacker.
And then I rushed you.
That Bran was not a specialist, but Paramedic is dead as well. So at least 3 specialists have been killed, and 0 to 1.
I guess I made a mistake by rushing you. Let's I had 5 regular orders and my tactical awareness order. My
Alright,
first
so they're just
regular order.
buffing
Sorry,
around
let me
slightly, trying to
speak.
see what they can do.
My first
Um,
tactical awareness order activated.
yeah.
I
Okay.
popped out.
And well, if the
Alright.
biggest thing
Lizard's
is
moving
we'll
forward.
use the biggest this time,
Bag Marie
and just
and
do
Sniper
five.
AROs.
Okay, I'll do 2 against each.
If I had the lists open, I
So
would be
let's check
doing math right
range.
now, because
Good info,
the
25
math
misses, yep.
is,
Good
do
range
you
for both.
need to kill the
So
tick
you
belang
got cover
in order
mimetism
to win on army
for
points?
that one, and
If you don't, then you
just
don't.
mimetism for that
But
one.
like I
So
said,
I'll
you
be
don't even
on,
go for it. But if you
14 against
do,
Fugazi. Let's do Fugazi first.
then
2 on
that's the play.
14s,
I have a really strong suspicion
12
that the way the
for
points
1.
are rolling out is that
15.
it's
If I miss,
it's
definitely
kill the
hit
tick
me
belang or
with
lose.
measure.
25.5, I
But
believe.
Yeah, definitely a miss. So you hit me
we will
2
see.
times.
All right,
Use
so the
unpiercing
lizard is
mode.
moving up. It's going to kill some Fugazi. Takes the
So
Fugazi down.
double unconscious.
Gonna put shots
Okay,
into
then I'll
the
do the
Sapper
Bag
Sniper
Marie.
as
I'll use, you're
well.
not shock immune, I don't think. No,
Awesome.
I'm going to use shock ammunition.
So this is
I
going to
will
be
on
a
11s.
reasonable face-to-face roll. It's just the 1 dice.
7.
At 10.
He rolled too many dice there.
Save. They are dead.
We'll activate the
He definitely
lizard.
rolled too many dice there. There's a
I'm going to
decompression
vault straight
zone.
over this box.
Um,
6 inches gets me to here.
Yep.
I don't
that's
know if that gets me line of sight.
yeah,
I think
into
it
line
might.
of fight,
I
into
think
line
it
of sight
will,
of the
but
tick
I'm
good.
belang.
Let's go. Let's do a battle.
So he's playing for the
Thank you.
marbles here. Yep.
I don't see this Fugazi, so
And he's
it's
gotten
just
there
tick.
with 1 more order than I thought he would, actually, but fair enough.
Quick double check.
So,
This is the tick.
because he paused
Okay.
to heal the Palbot.
So the tick
Not really
belang
sure what
will
happened
hit
there.
you with a
So it's probably
No
going to be
worries,
a
I'll fix
flash
back.
pulse and a tick belang
20,
shot, and I suspect
20.9
he
is
will
what I
ignore
checked.
the flash
So
pulse.
we're good.
This is not through a decompression zone.
On a
14.
He is basically looking for.
Crit.
nice
That is not a crit.
saves.
Um,
Oh, you're talking about he's unconscious.
Alrighty, so this is good.
all right.
So I'm
All right.
still got 1 wing.
Game state lightly
Two
restored.
units left,
Yeah. So that was the
so
jumping the gun there.
What?
because I hit on a 12.
Kyle assumed that the 14 was a crit.
Oh,
14 is
okay.
not a crit.
Yeah,
Which actually means I think the lizard won the
Okay, let's do
face-to-face
that.
roll. So the tick belang won the face-to-face roll.
Take a wound.
So I'm damage 16.
That's
Damage
not a wound.
16,
Yep. So
Armor 4 with cover.
Yep.
Using, oh no, you got a regular HMG, don't you?
Yeah, I won't go HMG.
So,
I'm damage 16,
inconclusive
but I have
engagement.
Damage 5, so 6 is good.
Couple of orders
Okay,
left
sweet.
to
Alright,
take this
I
fight.
will activate it and hold position, idle.
Yep. So
Yep.
this gunfight's going to happen a couple of times until the tick
So
belang
I'm
goes down,
looking for
basically.
11s, sorry. My
So it says
apologies.
11s versus 15s. There's the
Now I
crit.
Now I crit.
So
Yeah, nice.
3 hits into the tick belang, 2 fails here. It takes 3 fails. So the tick belang is unconscious.
2 wounds, goes unconscious.
So that is really, really good, basically. So at this point, that is a win. So right now, the Nomads have won. They are securing the HVT. They have done 1 classified. They have scored more army point kills, probably. But they have not scored more specialist kills. There is 1 point on the line for console kills, which basically you want to get at this point. Literally dismount the pilot. Yeah. So I think Kyle has identified that he actually probably can get the lizard into base contact there, but this Chaxer is now piloting the thing. It's going to come out and try and press the button. I think it's rolling for 13s, and it'll have a couple of goes at it.
I don't think anyone sees you.
On a 13, 10.
And it gets it. Yep. It doesn't really matter what it rolls. So that gives us basically our game end. The players will have to calculate points, but as best I can tell, and it is pretty bloody close. Nomads have more points left alive, so more points killed for 2. Pano have more specialists killed for 2. Nomads have more consoles pressed for 1, and they have done 2 effectively classifieds to 0. So that makes it a 5-2 game.
You've definitely killed more.
Unless there are more dead Nomads, in which case it's a 4-3 game.
2 points for killing more army points. Then you've got more objectives.
Yep, Ben has confirmed. So there we go. So that is a I can't tinker with this, but that is a 5-3 win. 5 points, obviously good for in terms of tournament points. That is a major or a win with the offensive bonus. Not terrible either from the Pan-Oceanian player, although that's a loss. That is a loss with the defensive bonus. You kept your opponent to within 2 points. So that was well held, I think, from the Nomad player. To be perfectly frank, there were some executional errors by both players. Not major ones, but ones that
working. Well,
Yeah, one
yes.
definitely impacted the game,
Two
and
for
two
classified, so you
were
did
kind of
5.
made major by the list construction choices the
Does that
players
make
had
any
made.
sense?
One of the
Okay, so
advantages
how to
that the
play
Nomad player
obvious
had going into the game
points?
actually was just that they had
2. How
more
to play 1. 2
offensive
classifieds,
options
5.
and
Yep.
more
Okay.
how would you even
Oof.
describe this? They had more moving parts in their army than the more moving parts in the army than their opponent did.
Yeah.
That's the beauty
The
of the
the
tick
big
blank.
disadvantage
So
of this
But
double
I would
tag
have
list,
needed
as
that if I had
powerful
any
as it
brains. I would have put my guys in such a way you
is
wouldn't have
that
got
it
it so easily.
has
Would have still got around
it has.
and got to.
Can I just ask, guys, leave the game room open for a little bit? I'm just doing some. Oh, can I just talking to the players very briefly? They did not pause recording for that. No one will have gotten this far anyway. No one will know that I ever said this. From the NCA, from the Acontecimento side, I think very good deployment, very good the use of the 2 palbots early on to give them options to set up for the attack, and then just the absolute hammer blow. A little bit of probably the biggest executional error. Like the by far the biggest executional error from the Acontecimento point here was just the decision not to leave the Dragao isolated and immobilized. May not necessarily have changed the game, but at minimum, a heavy flamethrower coming into this lizard could have killed it. And then the whole game is different. The game is won, basically. If the Dragao trades for the lizard, that's the game, because that was the only thing that could have killed. That was the thing that killed the Tick Blang in the end. The Riot Girl could have, and if the Tick Blang had been on only 1 wound, I think she probably would have, but the lizard was what eventually got it done. So, some good points actually. So, use of the Fugazi recognition once this pull was down to nothing and just ablative, the use of these Fugazis to like just aggressively move up as pickets, really solid. Similarly, on Kyle's side, the triage, consistently tight triage. Also, like ultimately, it didn't swing the game prodigiously, but it could have. This 0 dropping the repeater could have resulted in the possession of the Dragao, second order of the game. And then if the Dragao gets possessed, the Tickling was inside the repeater zone. Like this there was a game state in which this 0 possessed 2 tags on the first turn. Like that would have been pretty incredible. And also really, really a reason why if you can get a second hacker in, sometimes you can't. My hack lists are increasingly thinning down, and I wish I had 2 hackers in them, two regular hackers in them still. But if it's really good in terms of thickening your defensive net. Either way, there we go. A tight fought game, a close win, well played to the Nomad player. As always, I try and put these videos around once every couple of months. They're interesting to make. This one was long. It's been a shitty week. We are back in lockdown because we were unable to hold the Sydney sneeze at the borders. It fucking sucks. It is what it is. More TGS games potentially to follow. If you enjoyed this or you've got anything to say, or if I did anything wrong, please leave a comment down below. It's always interesting to engage with people who have a chance to watch these. Thank you very much. I'll be here next time.